And I think there's so much more about it that could be changed in time that would make it just so much more cooler. Honestly, I do like love the game. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't know if all of like the critiques or criticizing or complaining makes it sound like I hate it, but I actually do genuinely love it. It's actually been a whole lot of fun, and like I said, it's definitely a fresh breath of air from what it is that I have been playing usually. I think it would be a little cooler, like for secret missions or extra missions or RNG missions, if you're able to fight like some of the actual characters from the show, and if you beat them, you end up getting like some really crazy loot, which would essentially just be like raids in a game, the equivalent of raids. I think that that would be pretty cool. I also think that there could be cooler loot in the game. I think that I've seen just about every piece of loot that's ever dropped. Like while playing with my brothers so far, I've seen a heavenly spear, a dragon bone, Sukuna's finger, like jade black, the normal katana, a tanto. I've seen the white like shoulder or the white arm thing, the black arm thing, like the red choker, the blue choker. I've seen the normal glasses, the polarized glasses. I've seen like a stronger version of the polarized glasses where it was like a different color, a different color border or frame. But I think it would be cooler to have a higher range of like loot items that could be dropped with weapons and with like without weapons. I mean, there are a ton of other characters in JJ. Oh my god, I'm really struggling right now in JJK. I haven't really. I don't want to read the manga. I'd rather watch the show. I think the animation and the animating team are really something special. And don't get me wrong, if you watch the manga, there's nothing wrong with if you read the manga, there's nothing wrong with that. But we've seen so many different weapons in the show so far, and the game is just starting and opening up. But come on, man, you can't tell me some of the weapons that you've seen in the show you didn't think about putting in the game. We got like 3 or 4 katanas and a dragon bone, but what about that like scythe that old lady was walking around with? What about the you got like the oh my god, was it the inverted spear from like Toji? But what about Heavenly Cloud and the chopped up version of Heavenly Cloud and all of these other weapons that like we saw Maki using, or the chick that had like the sniper rifle? Where's the guns at? You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that would go crazy. And I know that it's like still the beginning, and they have so many things that like they want to add up and change, I'm sure. But I feel like the loot pool should be so much more vast, especially when basing it off of JJK. Like let's get stuff that we've seen characters wear, or if you're running out of ideas for what to put in as loot, pull some from other things and then put some like little spin on it. So far, a lot of the gear that I've gotten usually just give health and energy. I don't know if there's anything else that they could give. Maybe we start getting loot items that give us an extra dash. Maybe we start getting like if you don't go like the Deep Woken route by increasing your skills, therefore increasing your just passives for your character, or giving us like passive talents on top of the passive perks. Why not give us loot that has passives and we keep playing for god rolls? Or like how Deep Broken has like that needle where you can re-roll a certain whatever. Why not give us drops like that, make them as rare as Forgotten Orbs, or even rare, or just as rare as Sukuna's fingers, and let us be able to reroll stats on pieces of gear. And you can make that RNG as long as it's not, hey, I rolled from one part of health to a higher part of health. Like, come on, man. Unless that's what people want, like give us the option to choose between the categories and see what it is we land on. Like there is so many different ways to like expand on it and make it, a bit more just wild. And I really do hope that this game and Type Soul, well, whenever I get into Type Soul, because I don't want to talk about that too much, but this game and other games that follow along like this kind of trend actually do end up putting genuine time into it and changing stuff up. Because the train station animation hopping back and forth is cool, but you can get hit by the train and it will send you right back to your hideout, which I think is crazy because you're a curse, right? I don't know. Maybe after a certain level, It doesn't kill you. Maybe at every level it kills you. Why is there even an option for it to kill you? Why do you have to sit around and wait for the train? You live in a train station. The train should already be there. You know what I mean? Why not take a portal? Why not make it a door? Why not give us like different spawning areas? We've seen curses hang out in so many different places. Why is the train station just the main base? But I feel like stuff like that's just a little nitpicky. Some other stuff that I noticed as far as bugs in the game, and once again, it's open testing, so it's to be expected, and maybe you won't really call them bugs, but if you have to be level 99 to play the Colon games, and if you win, which quote unquote win, you don't really have to win, you just need a kill and to survive the rest of it and then leave. If you quote unquote win the Colon games building should go missing after level 99 and like before level 99, you know? Make that unaccessible. I don't know if it was in this clip or not, or in like my other clip, but I'm running to the Colon games after level 100 because I was going to go play with my brother at the time, and it kicked me out, and it kept kicking me out, and that's when I realized, oh my gosh, you have to be 99 and have not won to actually be in the Colon games. What if the Colon games was a secondary way to level up? Hey, developers, did you ever think about that? Like, people just run around hunting other people, and for every kill you get in the Colon games, it's like an extra 3 or 4 levels, or an extra 5 to 10 levels, because this is real PvP put on a clock. And what, like, the more kills you get, the closer your time to leaving becomes, so you can leave as soon as you reach that limit and then rinse and repeat and do it again. Like, why not have something like that? Or why not make it to where like the Colon games also has NPCs in it? You know, we start off with little curses and little sorcerers that run around, and they're always fighting each other, and depending on who you are, you might pull aggro to one or another. And then once we start getting bosses, if the game even does get bosses, every now and then you'll have a special event in this Colon games battle royale type of arena where bosses spawn in, and now you guys have to fight for your life while also fighting bosses or something else along those lines, you know? Why not have something like that? Why keep the Colon games within our field of view knowing that we can't enter it? That just seems like a waste of time. You know what I mean? And a waste of potential for something that could actually be a pretty good idea. At least that's one way to take it. Or why not have it to where, make it like a split server type of ordeal. So if you're 99 and over and you've won, you get sent to a different Colon games. Whereas like people who are 99 and haven't won gets into a different one. So it's kind of split server wise. So it's like Colon games battle royale, but then Colon games. One of them you actually do because you need to level up and finish. The other one you just do for fun, to get better loot, to get better EXP, to get better whatever, get better drop chances at stuff. That would be pretty cool too, I think. Finishing the open world would be pretty cool as well. The open world is super confusing. I like the fact that it's a city, it's a town, but I think that if it is going to be a city and or a town, there should be stuff around that you can actually interact with. I like being able to actually see it being built and know that it's going to be hopefully a lot bigger and that there's going to be more to move around. But I feel like if you start putting cars in, random NPCs in, random curses in, like I said NPCs, but I meant like humans, random curses in, random NPCs that could actually give you stuff like random traders, or somebody is like side quests, stuff that make you run off and do whatever else in the open world in case you're getting bored of like the missions at your base, or having more collision type obstacles, and even being able to go inside buildings in a city, you know, being able to go inside and jump off of them and do all kinds of parkour and stuff, as long as like they're spacious, because a lot of it look like apartments and whatnot. I feel like that would be a pretty cool mechanic, especially since the parkour is so different. I remember my brother describing the parkour as like unique, as fun, as awesome, as cool. I do not feel that way. He does, I don't. The kickoff is atrocious. My character, while I was playing over the course of 2 to 3 days, I had like this terrible habit of just kicking off, and I could not stop kicking off. Whenever I climbed a wall, I would kick off. Whenever I was wall running, I would kick off. Whenever I was trying to kick off, I wouldn't kick off. I was like, oh my gosh, there needs to be some kind of, at least in my opinion, better control or definite keys that help towards your character kicking off. I tried doing a bunch of different things to see what could have sparked it or spawned it, and it seems like no matter what my research pulled up with, as long as I was running on a wall, I was destined to kick off of that wall. And I didn't really start running into that problem until maybe like the end of my first day towards my second day. That was atrocious. But other than that, I feel like everything else was pretty cool. I'm really just waiting to see how the open world actually gets built. Is this going to be one of those things where it's like Shindo Life, where like you have these different quadrants and you can choose to play in a completely open map? Or is this going to be like one of those things where it's just an area where both bases can meet in the middle to have an all-out like warfare, if that is the battle royale? And if that was the case, when you kill players, is there a chance you just get loot and EXP instantly put into your inventory? Or is it going to be like Deep Woken, where they drop a chest or something, or a bag or something, where you can open it up and look inside it? And you know what determines like the loot chance, depending on whatever players you go up against or whatever players you kill. And something else I wanted to ask about was the feed option for curses, right? Like when you start, I'm assuming sorcerers don't have it, but when you start and you grip somebody, you can choose to grip them, or you can feed, same exact animation, same exact move, until you actually grip them with a right click, which actually kills them like you would in Deep Woken. Which, another thing, when you assassinate enemies in Deep Woken, they die. When you assassinate enemies in this game, they get right back up and fight you. The humans, I think, automatically die, but the sorcerers, they get back up and fight you. So what's the point of assassinating? Is it just extra backstabbing damage? And if that is the case, why give like the falling animation and kind of make it to where they seem dead until they jump right back up? You know, what's the point of that? What determines if you have enough damage to assassinate a target? And also, why is assassinating a target like, in the beginning, it was so troublesome. Their walking paths were ridiculous. They'd have their back turned for like 5 minutes, and the moment you get near them and crouch, they turn around. Now, it's a little bit easier because I've been able to bypass it, but now that I actually can assassinate them, they don't die. They just take, I guess, extra damage. I don't know if it resets their death timer or what. What's the point of that mechanic? That was so weird to me. I know Deep Woken does it. There's probably a bunch of other games that do it as well, but that was just so weird to me. And yeah, I think having multiple weapon categories would definitely help with the combat system in the game. I don't think the combat is like too bad, but pretty much when you're a curse fighting sorcerers, all the sorcerers are just samurai. My brother said it best. He was like, this game feels like a samurai game where once you get like a sword or something, it's just sword fighting from that point forward. Don't get me wrong, I've seen people fight with the inverted spear of heaven. I've seen people fight with the Tonto. I've seen people fight with their fists, and I think that's cool too. In Deep Woken, they categorize these weapons light, medium, heavy. Why don't we get more light, medium, and heavy weapons? Why is it just blades? In Jujutsu Kaisen, we've seen more than just blades. Can we get gauntlets? Can we get gauntlets? Can we get chains? Like the kind of like chains that you can wrap around your fist and fight with, but like the critical is something where like you throw the chain out and grab somebody and pull them towards you, like Scorpion to like continue the combination. Speaking of like the critical, can we get a cooldown timer for things? Can we see how long a cooldown is on something? Deep Woken had it for the dash. They had it for their critical. They had it for all these other things. This game does not. You don't know when you can use it again. You kind of just have to play off a feel, which once again, because I played Deep Woken, like the feel is basically the same. But for people who are coming in, they might not get that so certain. They might not get that so soon. Can we get something for that? Can we get an indicator when you're in a dream world and you're about to have a headache? I can count it, right? At like 17 seconds, boom, you get that headache, right? But can you have some kind of visual indicator once you hit that 10-second mark or that 15-second mark or whatever that lets you know, boom, headache? Or can you have something where like your heart, because your heart's beating in a dream world. I'm assuming that's what that noise is. When you get that heart beating, whatever, can your heart beat a bit differently? That way you know when it's coming in. Can we get something like quality of life things that would make the game a bit more just, that's actually really refreshing. Like, can we get some more of that?